Hey, my name's Hunter Simas. This is my 2003 Dyna Lowrider. Grew up riding dirt bikes and, watching a lot of Jesse James and Indian Larry, and just kind of fell in love with the whole motorcycle scene, and that just progressed throughout my whole life. Once I graduated high school, I saved up some money, bought a dirt bike for myself, kind of just took off from there. Slightly after high school, I got into street bikes, totaled one of them, got hit by a car. That was a 02 RC51. After that, I bought a Gixxer 600, got that one impounded by the cops, couldn't afford to get it out, ended up having to sell that. That went into a 94 F3. I was gonna build into a stunt bike. That guy gave up on and sold that. A couple years after that, continued to ride dirt bikes, and then ended up buying a 2004 Sportster 883. Crashed that thing a couple times, ended up rebuilding it and then selling it off. Waited about 2 years, continued to ride dirt bikes, and then bought this baby here. When I bought this thing, it looked nothing like this. It did have +2 forks on it, but they were done with like an extension. It had the Thunderheader on it. That's really all that I've kept, is just the pipe and the air filter on it. Everything else I've kind of just done over the past couple years. Up front, we've got Race Tech internals on a +2, obviously the gold forks, and then we also added the Tracker Die damper kit. So it's technically sitting at a +4, but we went a little bit higher than the trees to make it still sit at that +2, because it's the look I like, and it just rides nice like that. Above that, I've got some Sly Fox 10.5-inch risers with some chrome Thrashing low bend bars, some Nest mirrors, Nordic levers, as well as the Thrashing brake reservoir cap. So this tank actually wasn't on this bike when I bought it. It had to probably have been the original tank, but it was all silver, probably crashed with a bunch of Bondo, I'm not sure. But Tyler actually was building his bike now and offered up the tank, and we swapped tanks, and I was lucky enough to get the original paint job back on this thing. We've got a Saddleman seat. That thing's nice and comfy. It's nice and broken in for me now. 14-inch RWDs. Flow pegs all the way around. That's actually a Moon's brake lever with a flow peg on it that I actually polished up to make it a little bit shinier. RWD front crash bar, bunking rear crash bars, flow rear rotor. So I picked this windshield up off of Instagram. It's actually stock from 03. It still has the original stickers on it, which is pretty cool. It's got no scratches, nothing wrong with it. That's probably one of my favorite parts of this bike now. I just put that on. We got a Dynotech rev limiter, as well as a Mikuni carburetor and the Ness air filter. The wheels, I just chromed those. I like the gold stock, but it was time. If I had to have a favorite memory on the bike, it'd probably be the first time I wheelied this thing. Coming from dirt bikes and street bikes and stuff and getting into wheelies, it's just a different feeling that I've kind of became obsessed with. Best trip I've had on this bike was definitely Mexico. We went down there for EDR, not this last year, but the year before. And that was just, we had a good solid group of guys. We ended up getting there in time to get a palapa right in the event. So that was pretty rad. We stayed there the first night and then stayed in our Airbnb the second night. And just enjoyed being in Mexico and not really having any worries for that weekend. I'm sure motor work will come in. That's really all I have left that I want to do, besides cleaning some things up. My goal with this bike in my head is to make it a nice, beautiful show bike, but also go out and ride it as I want and beat the shit out of it and wheelie it and still maybe win some trophies. You can find me either here hanging out. I'm here quite a bit, here at Cook's. If you want to find me on Instagram, it's Wheelies for Boobies. That's kind of how everybody knows me too. So if you walk up to me and you say, hey, Wheelies for Boobies, I'll definitely respond. You can buy me a Bud Light. That'd be dope. So a couple days ago, this Thunderheader was not what it looks like now. It was chrome, it was beat up, faded, colored. I didn't really want to change the chrome because it went with the whole bike, but my buddy Jimmy over at OC Bike Detail came over, ended up convincing me to let's just go ahead and go polished. And so now you're looking at a freshly polished Thunderheader. And I think it's the cleanest it's looked. And I would definitely recommend polish over chrome for sure right now.